Where I'm from, we don't buy gear because it's trendy. We buy gear that works when life gets loud. Every week, good folks walk into gun stores across the United States and get sold on bargain guns with big promises and tiny engineering. I've carried, fired, and field stripped enough of these to tell you straight some pistols and carbines are so poorly built or so badly executed they might put you in more danger than being unarmed. Today, I'm breaking down 10 notoriously unreliable models, what they claimed, how they're built, the specs that matter, and why their design, materials, or QC trip them up in the real world. If you want Texas-level reliability, simple, tough, predictable under stress. Stick with me. This isn't a hate fest. It's a buyer beware brief so you can protect your family and your wallet with something you can trust when it counts. 10. High-point pistols. Cheap runs, deep. I'll give High-Point this: they never lied about what they are. Low MSRP pistols that nearly anyone can afford, often under $200. The C9YC9 family uses a polymer frame with a steel-reinforced zinc alloy slide and a simple blowback system. That alloy choice keeps costs down, but forces a bulkier, heavier slide to manage recoil and pressure. That's why these guns feel like an anvil compared to most 9.9mm. The trade is intentional, simple action, low parts count, and an industry lifetime warranty that folks like to quote. Here's my Texas take: yes, I've seen examples that chug along, but I've also seen feeding issues, clumsy field strips, and awkward ergonomics that slow you down. When I'm picking a defensive sidearm, I don't want maybe. I want reliable cycling with common loads and a frame I can run hard in drills. For a range beater, fine. For the gun you stake your life on. You can do better with not much more money. 9. Taurus Judge. Marketing ain't ballistics. The Taurus Judge sells a great story. A revolver that fires 45 Colt and 410 shot shells. Sounds like a ranch hand dream until you test it like a Texan, on steel and paper at real distances. In short barrels, 410 patterns open up fast. At typical home defense distances, 5 to 7 yards, buckshot spreads can be so wide that pellets miss critical zones. Several public tests show this clearly. That ain't a theory problem. That's physics meeting short barrels and cylinder gap blast. Judge also brings snappier recoil with some loads and leaves you with rudimentary sights geared more for intimidation than precision. If your mission is close-in snake control, okay, I've seen it work on varmints. But for personal defense against a violent attacker, ballistics and controllability matter more than novelty. In Texas, we say mission drives the gear. For most folks, a standard .357 or 38 plus P revolver or a vetted 9.9mm pistol will serve you better with tighter patterns, faster follow-ups, and proven terminal performance. 8. Kel-Tec Sub2000. Cool trick. Fussy hinge. I respect a clever design, and the Sub2000 is clever. A folding pistol caliber carbine that takes common mags, many versions except Glock, stows small, and keeps weight down. The catch is the folding hinge and lockup. Those interfaces must be repeatable, or your zero walks and reliability suffers. Owners and armorers who run these hard often move to specialized optic mounts that swing out of the way so the rifle can fold, precisely because mounting an optic straight to the top compromises the fold or won't hold zero. Out of the box, the factory sights are basic, and you may chase feeding sensitivity depending on mags and ammo. My ranch truck advice: if you want a packable PCC, inspect lockup, test your magazines, and plan to upgrade sights or use a proven swing-away mount before trusting it for duty. The Sub2000's concept is solid. The execution just needs careful setup, so it runs like a tool, not a toy. 7. Charter Arms revolvers. Revolver rules still apply. A lot of folks think a revolver is immune to gremlins. Ask any wheel gunsmith in Texas, and they'll tell you timing and lockup are life and death. With some Charter Arms samples, I've felt loose cylinder lockup and seen user reports of timing irregularities, symptoms that can cause spitting lead and lost accuracy. Even fans admit quality has varied by era. You need to hand-check alignment, trigger feel, and ejector behavior on the exact gun you're buying. This isn't to say every charter is junk. I've handled solid ones too. But the lesson is the same: verify timing. Look for crisp cylinder stop engagement and cycle it slow and fast to catch intermittent hang-ups. The charm of a lightweight 38 is real, especially for folks who don't want to manage semi-auto controls. Just don't skip the fundamentals, because when timing's off, you don't just miss, you risk a dangerous misalignment. That's not a gamble I take with a carry gun. 6. Jimenez Arms, JA Industries. When the price is the point. There's affordable, and then there's too cheap for safety. The Jimenez Brico lineage, later JA Industries, is infamous for Zamak zinc alloy construction, weak parts, and regulatory drama. In 2022, the ATF moved to revoke JA Industries FFL, citing a long history of shell games around lawsuits and investigations. That isn't a great look for a company whose pistols already had a rep for breakage. It's not just headlines. In California, the JA9 was ordered off the market after the pistol failed state safety tests with a high malfunction rate. If your goal is a gun that runs when your life's on the line, these failures aren't academic. They're the red flags you don't ignore. Yes, some owners get a runner for plinking. But the structural compromises of soft alloy slides to frames and weak extractors show up over time, and parts support is spotty when companies fold, rebrand, or vanish. Bottom line, this is where the bargain becomes a liability. Spend a little more. Buy a platform with a track record. Yes. 5. Cobra Derringers Cobra Enterprises. I love Old West aesthetics as much as any Texan, but modern Cobra Derringers are not the cowboy iron you're picturing. The company, Cobra Enterprises of Utah, filed Chapter 7 in 2020. The Derringer tooling changed hands to Behrman Industries and later arrangements. That corporate shuffle matters because support and QC don't survive bankruptcy paperwork. Technically, Derringers offer 2 shots from very short barrels, tiny parts, and minimal extraction leverage, meaning any tolerance slop turns into stuck cases at the worst time. Reports and litigation around defects underscore the reliability question. On paper, the .38 Special Big Bore shows about 14 ounces and about 2.7 barrels. On the line, you're fighting heavy triggers, basic sights, and reloads that feel like surgery with gloves on. In Texas terms, it's a cool conversation piece, not a dependable pocket get-off-me gun. If you're romantically set on a Derringer, hunt for a better sorted maker, or accept this one as a range novelty, not a lifesaver. 4. Kel-Tec P32. Tiny done right. Not every micro-pistol is a trap. The Kel-Tec P32 shows what happens when smart engineering meets a realistic mission. Instead of blowback, it runs a locked breech short recoil system, rare for a .32 ACP that small, which helps it shoot softer and cycle cleanly despite the size. Specs that matter: about 6.6 ounces unloaded, 0.75 width, and 7+1 capacity in a truly pocketable format. For deep concealment, that's bona fide. Do I wish .32 ACP hit harder? Sure. But Texas wisdom says carry the gun you'll actually carry, every day, everywhere. With the P32, you get a snag-free profile, a consistent DAO internal hammer pull, and practical reliability with common loads if you do your part and vet your ammo. It's not your ranch night barn gun. It's the pistol you forget you're wearing until you need it. Respect its limits. Train for control, and it delivers honest work from a micro that punches above its weight. 3. Lorcin Engineering, a cautionary tale in lawsuits. If you want a case study in why materials and QC matter, look at Lorcin Engineering. The company cranked out ultra-cheap pocket pistols built from injection-molded Zamak. By 1996, Lorcin hit bankruptcy with 18 product liability / personal injury lawsuits pending. It re-emerged in 1997 and closed in 1998, with 22 more suits hanging. That's not internet gossip. That's the company history. Mechanically, you see the same pattern: soft frames, slides, rough feed ramps, weak mag springs, and drop safety concerns documented in recall lists. Could a specimen plink on the cheap? Maybe, for a while. But when the manufacturer no longer exists, parts dry up, and your bargain turns into a paperweight. Texans speak plain: don't buy trouble. If you spot an L25, L 380L 9mm in a pawn case, treat it like an artifact, not a lifesaver. Reliability is not a decal, it's earned in metal. 2. Taurus 730 TCP. Pocket carry that makes sense. The Taurus 730 TCP is proof that small can be serviceable when the design's honest. Callouts about 10.2 ounces unloaded, 6+1 capacity, DAO, and a footprint that actually disappears in a front pocket. It's still a 380 ACP micro, so physics are physics, short sight radius and snappy behavior. But the TCP tends to feed and eject like a grown-up pistol if you vet your carry load and keep it lubed. Factory manuals and period reviews track the dimensions and performance pretty closely. In Texas, plain speak, this is a deep concealment tool, not your primary storm door gun. Practice controlled pairs, confirm point of impact at 5 to 10 yards, and be realistic about terminal performance within its lane. Light, flat, minimalist controls. The TCP does what it says on the tin. If you want more horsepower, step up in size. If you want something you'll actually carry in the heat, this is one of the micros that earns a cautious nod. One Remington R51 should have been a modern revival of the Pedersen-style delayed blowback in a slim 9.9mm package from a legacy American brand. Instead, early guns shipped with catastrophic reliability and safety problems, failures to feed extract, rough machining, mags dropping, and reports of out-of-battery discharges. By 2014, Remington launched a voluntary recall exchange program and tried again with a revised run. Reputation damage lingered because users don't forget a pistol that KBs. Here's why this matters for regular folks. The Pedersen-type action demands tight tolerances and precise timing. If barrels are poorly reamed or parts stack out of spec, the slide can begin opening before pressure drops, leading to bulged cases or worse. That's not an internet myth. Multiple technical write-ups documented the failure modes and why the fix wasn't simple. In a state where we work our tools hard and carry every day, a pistol that behaves like a beta prototype doesn't get a second invite to the dance. My call is simple: R51 is a historical lesson now. If you want a thin 9.9mm for real defensive use, there are dozens of proven designs with thousands of uneventful rounds behind them. Buy a gun, not a science project. If there's one takeaway tonight, it's this: don't buy a problem. Before any pistol earns a spot on your belt, run a real shakedown. Hot, fast strings with your carry ammo. Until you've proven reliable cycling under stress, a practical bar is a few hundred rounds without drama. Double check for recalls or safety notices on the exact make and model. Companies do stumble. And when they do, you need to know it before the gun goes in a holster. Stick to the fundamentals every time you handle a firearm: safe direction, finger off the trigger until you're ready, and know your target and what's beyond. From here, pick proven platforms. Vet your ammunition in your own gun, not just in gelatin charts, and maintain a simple, repeatable routine for function checks. In short, buy once, test hard, carry what works. If a design's main feature is a long list of excuses, walk away. Your life and the people you love deserve better hardware.